Hey everybody, Von here with the Vonster vlog. Oh, and I am ready to do, what day is this? Day 14? I don't know what day it is, you guys. Welcome to day 14 of a year of yoga. Wow, is it? I don't know. Time is a construct. But if it is day 14, we've done this, well, in about 20 to 40 minutes. We'll have done this for 2 solid weeks, which is a huge feat. Oh, and I feel like getting directly into it. So we're going to start just some inhaling and exhaling to center ourselves in our minds, in our bodies, on our mat. There we go. Inhaling, exhaling with engaged knees, we are going to melt down into a forward fold. I have pulled something in the top of my right foot, which has been like a chronic problem for me ever since I backpacked like 20 miles. But I don't know, it's twinging and acting up today. So we'll see how that goes. So again, always honor and pay attention and mind what's going on in your body today. So keeping our knees engaged, we don't want to just lock them out. We want to protect our knee joint with all the muscles that surround it. You can straighten up on our fingertips. You could have your hands on a chair, on your thighs, on your shins, on a block, on the ground. You can kind of wiggle that booty a little side to side. There we go. And we are going to put our feet just a little bit wider. I like to put my feet actually where the inside of my toes and heels are touching the outer edge of my mat. Just holding on a little bit with my toes. Actually, my heels are on the mat. My toes are right there on the outside edge of it. And I am just going to bring myself down into garland pose. Stretching through my hips. Kind of wiggling a little side to side. It took me about a year of consistent practice, like consistent weekly practice with Yoga with Adriene to get to where my heels, well, for one, to where I felt comfortable-ish in this position, but also to get to where my heels could make contact with the ground. So if you're up on your toes, that's okay. Do what you're doing. And so just putting my hands together in front of my heart, trying to not hunch over, but trying to radiate and grow up and out. Finding an ease of breath. So that's the goal for me with a lot of this, is finding my ease of breath. I'm going to come back up into forward fold a little bit just to provide some relief to my knees. You can also lean back into garland pose, propped up, let's see if I can demonstrate it, on some blocks to help take a whole lot of that stress and pressure off of your knees. So I actually have 3 blocks stacked up here. And from a forward fold, I may end up needing to, I'm going to need to bring my feet just a little farther forward so the blocks are stacked behind my, like where my heels are in line. It's behind that line. And just sit your little booty down there on those blocks. Now you can't like relax into it. I'd fall backwards. But this is pretty nice, y'all. I can dig it. This is a very nice meditative, and it's getting a nice stretch through the outside of my thighs, my hips, and the old rumpus. Sometimes you just gotta smack your own ass. I'm just saying. we can't be our own biggest fans, then, and what's the point? And from here, you can actually practice rocking a little bit, maybe towards the front of your feet, not too far back though, we don't want to be falling backwards, and practicing putting a little bit more pressure in letting your legs carry more of the weight. Though truthfully, with less of the stress on my legs, I can focus on opening my hips more. There we go. So now from here, let's come back into forward fold, walk our hands out, and then drop our knees, and we will do some cat-cow posture. Exhaling into cow. Inhale. Exhaling into cat. Trying to lead that movement again with our pelvis. And you don't have to be leading, like moving with the breath right from the get-go. But you can build your way up into it. And I don't think there's a thing wrong with lingering and breathing more. Releasing that tension through our neck and shoulders. Oh, do a little side to side maybe. Let's actually make this a bit dynamic. I'm going to bring my knees a little closer together, and I'm going to make circles with my spine. Just feeling like if I am inside of a tube or there's like a circle around my torso, and I want to be touching every point of that circle as I go around. It's nice and juicy. And we can come back into some regular old. So our next posture is actually reclining hero, which, depending on where you are, where your knees are, where your hips are, where, for me, my ankles hold me back on this one quite a bit. But we will, with my feet spread a little bit wider than my hips, so you can see where they're sitting in relation to my bum, we can come back and use our upper body to support us as we kind of tucking our pelvis under will really emphasize the stretch across the top of our legs. And that for me is pretty intense. Some folks will be able to recline all the way back. You may have a bolster, you may have something, but I prefer at my current stage to one leg at a time. So I'm sitting with my legs out in front of me, and I'm going to lean all the way over to make room, bring my left foot behind me, kind of tuck it up into the position, and then I'm going to lay back on my elbow, and I can start introducing the stretch into just the one quadricep. And I'm feeling this from right at my hip fold all the way down to the top of my knee. And if you want it a little bit deeper, you can reach across your body. If you want to experience deeper in another way, you can open your chest towards the sky. And so we're going to come up out of this by coming back over, raising ourselves up, bringing my foot out in front. So it looks kind of sloppy, I'm sure, but that's our ego. Our internally, our body, our organs, our muscles, our tissues do not care if we look Instagrammable. They care about how it feels. So that's what we're focusing on, is not on how we look, we're doing it in the privacy of our own home. Like, I'm here, with y'all, but you don't got to take pictures of it. You don't got to show people. Just focus on feeling, because that's going to provide way more value. So you can see here how I have my leg folded. You may also, I need to look in and find some knee sensitive alternatives to this. So if y'all have any suggestions for that, let me know down in the comments. Coming down to my elbow. Oh, reaching across gives me a great stretch kind of on the outer side of the thigh. And then we can open up more towards the sky. And again, if you're feeling it maybe too much in your ankle or something, try tucking and pressing with your pelvis, because that's going to get the stretch way more into the top of your thigh. There we go. And I do like to explore reclining hero with both of my legs under, as well with just one or the other. Okay, so now we're going to come back onto our hands and knees. We'll back it up a little bit, and we are going to practice lizard. We're squeezing a little cat-cow. So I'm moving my right hand in, bringing my right foot up, putting my right hand and left hand both in line with my foot, raising up on my back knee, and growing and radiating forward. I'm going to lower my back knee down for just a little bit. I'm going to push back, bring my knee back. Don't forget, you can use your blocks here. Moving my hands off to the right and bringing my left foot up now. Inching it forward. Putting my hands back under my shoulders, planting my right foot, and lifting my right knee. Radiating forward. I actually like to have my hands, it seems, in line with my big toe, like with the ball of my foot and big toe. Puts a little bit less stress on my wrists. And lower my back knee. Get a little bit deeper. And come back out of it. Okay, we're going to sit back onto our feet for just a moment and do a little bit of wrist stretching, just to give us a bit of a break between lizard and our next couple of poses, which are plank, down dog, and cobra. So, I don't know if y'all can hear. Well, of course, now that I'm by the mic, it's not doing it. But my wrists are just Rice Krispie treats. Just doing our little teacups in one direction and our figure 8 teacups. Because again, it's like it's like kind of come hither hands, but I'm basically drawing out a figure 8 as exaggeratedly as possible. And you can experiment with you could make your figure 8s down here, like you're swirling your fingertips through water. You could do your figure 8s up here. You could start up top and then undulate them down. You could start by your hips and then undulate them forward and up, and then back and down. You could do it in the other direction. getting more of your arms involved. Just experimenting with and playing with the movement. Because sometimes it seems like being a grown up is we just got really good at bottling up all of our childlike tendencies of experiencing joy and having fun and just playing for the sake of nothing other than playing, just having fun. And we bottle it up for so long that the cat gets stuck. So sometimes, to get myself back into a playful mood, I have to like work at playing. So, like, okay, I'm going to do this. But it kind of knocks some of the rust off of that bottle cap and makes it to where suddenly, before you know it, you're kind of having a bit of fun. Sometimes you have to trudge through feelings of awkwardness or clumsiness or being very, very self conscious. But again, we're alone in our homes right now. We can be all kinds of weird. It's okay. And just move and enjoy it. And I don't have any music going because, copyright and stuff, but there's music in my heart always. So y'all might have some tunes going. You can just enjoy that. So, plank. Now that we had some fun, time to do plank. And let's challenge ourselves and see if we can bring some of that fun into plank. So again, we could be here with our knees down, still building strength through our arms. We could be standing with our hands against a wall with our body at an incline, just building up, or the edge of a countertop, or maybe not the back of a chair just in case it slips. You don't want to practice safety at all times, y'all. But start building up that strength. So we may be here or we may be up on our feet. We could even add a little bit of movement. And I am shaking, y'all. There we go. We did a bit of plank. That's all right. I want to build up my strength in plank because that's going to make me feel stronger between a lot of my other postures. That same strength of arms is very valuable in lizard, in up dog, in cobra, and so much of these other. I need to catch my breath. That was challenging, y'all, like for me at least. Okay, so we are going to return to plank. Cat cow. And transition into downward facing dog, or you can come from plank and drop onto your knees. Tuck your toes under. Inhale and exhaling. Downward dog. Shaking our head left and right, nodding it up and down, making sure we're not harboring tension in that neck and head. We can even do our feet a little wider if you like that. That's pretty nice. Pressing through my hands and feet as though I am a four-legged beastie. Oh, and we can kind of walk our knees out, shifting our weight from one side to the other, or we can find stillness. And now we can come back down into plank. Let's drop our knees, tuck our elbows in, lower ourselves gently to the mat. And I'm going to take a moment just stacking my fists, resting my forehead. I'm going to check my Fitbit because it feels like my heart's pounding. It's at 87 beats per minute, so I'm still pretty chill. It's not, just observing. It is perfectly okay to take moments to make moments of stillness anywhere and whenever you might need it. The idea for me, in my mind, is that if I practice stilling everything, coming to a place of stillness and peace, when I'm in the undisturbed area of my living room, then if I can practice it whenever I'm not, hopefully in a super duper high stress situation, then whenever I am in a high stress situation, those neural pathways, those thought processes, like that's a well worn path for my mind to take, to be like, okay, breathe. And it pulls me back to a familiar place of breathing. And it's just kind of training myself to be able to hopefully regain or be in better control of myself whenever I may need to. So is my thought process. It's also just very, very nice to experience breathing. So from here, we are going to come up out of our, relaxed position. And I'm using my back muscles. I'm supporting with my hands only very lightly as I pull up with my back, grounding through my hips, knees, and the tops of my feet. And then I can press up with my hands even farther, keeping my back engaged. Into Cobra. And we can practice, relaxing that booty. Maybe alternating which glute we're squeezing. That's always so much fun. Boop, 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 boop. That's my butt. So, stretch my neck out a bit. You can even come up onto your fingertips. You can get it a little bit deeper into that back bend. And then come down. Always try to stay within the realm of supported strength and control. I don't want to be like cramming my back folded in half. Like that's not the goal here. The goal here is to be stretching and strengthening. Inhale. Exhale, come back up. And then go a little deeper. Radiating out the top of our heads. Now we don't want to be locking our elbows wrapped around. If you can almost take your elbow pit and engage it, like wrapped around. If you can see that, like. Okay. Coming back down, pushing myself back up onto my knees. Okay, we have 2 more postures, you guys. We are going to roll back onto our butts. We're going to do some bridge. So it's taking them up. Please pardon my dog's barking. Poor puppers. Just taking an opportunity to stretch my neck out. Okay, placing my feet. Rolling back. Getting the blocks out my way. I'm going to kind of wiggle myself a little bit deeper down onto my mat just so that I'm comfy. And stepping my feet in kind of closer to my butt. And we can do a little bit of that pelvic tilt where we're tilting our pelvis while pushing on our feet on the bottom, like into our heels. Because that's where a lot of this strength is coming from, is from the back of our legs. The rest of our body is just following. And so we can do repetitions here. 2, Inhale and 3, pressing up, just as tight as we can. Inhaling back down. 4. 5. The intensity that we put behind this will create the resistance. You don't have to be, I lost count. I think that's 5. Sure. You don't have to be, crushing a bunch of weight, on a barbell or something to make this a challenging exercise. So there's 7. 8. There we go. Now we're going to press up and in, because by doing the repetitions, it's giving us an opportunity to engage and then disengage and become familiar with that muscle that we're engaging. So inhaling and coming up, we are now going to hold this, kind of walk our shoulder blades in. We can clasp our hands if we can, or hold on to our mat. Do not turn your neck in this position. Just gaze at the ceiling. And then from here, we can untuck our shoulder blades and slowly bring our spine down one vertebrae at a time until our tailbone kisses the mat. That was a pretty good bridge, y'all. Roll on up. And now we will meet in our wide-legged side bend. So, how's y'all's sciatic nerves doing? That's something that I think bothers a lot of us. Throughout the day, if we do a lot of sitting, a lot of standing sometimes, if your pants don't fit right, like it can be a finicky nerve, y'all. And I'm learning about how foot flexion and pointing your feet can actually kind of massage around, and you can explore the boundary between what is muscle tension and what is nerve tension. So that's why it just lends itself even more to why I like practicing this wide-legged side bend, both with my toes pointed and with my feet flexed, to kind of explore and check in on not just my muscles, but my nerves as well. And I'm just grooving from side to side. Now let's take our toes into points. Lets me travel down just a little bit farther too. Just leaning from one side to the other. Okay, and from here, let's actually engage. We're not locking our knees. It can feel similar, but we're lifting our heels off the ground. And then doing little toe circles, 3 in one way, and then 3 in the other, and then 3 in the other way, then 3 in the other. Right on. And now, to get kind of the opposite sensation, you can put your fingertips in front of you or even possibly on a block and lift your knees. So I'm putting the pressure through my sit bones and my heels, and I'm just lifting my knees. And it can be kind of an interesting isolation. This isn't a position we would necessarily get ourselves into, but it's by coming into this position and supporting it with comfortable breath, and then also exploring our range of motion, it's letting all of our muscles and all of our nerves know it's okay to be in this position. Because if we're not often sitting like this, our bodies may be like, whoa, 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 this is different and weird. I don't like it. We might be in danger. And so finding the edge of maybe coming in a little bit from where you're like, oh, yeah, that's pretty tight. If it's pretty tight, come on in a little bit and experiment with just moving your body around, letting it know, hey, it's okay. It's all right. We can do this. And then you can kind of get funky with it. And then you can maybe over the days and weeks and months and year, inch a little closer to where that line was and find yourself accepting peaceful breath and joyful movement in a place where your body previously was like, we're not going over there. And so that's, I think, a slow and steady and gentle way of increasing your flexibility, improving your range of motion, and possibly your mobility. So, coming back into that sway from side to side, we can also now start turning our body. And just kind of get some different feelings for it, and then bend on over to one side. Feeling that stretch through our side body. We could be opened with our chest towards the sky. We could be down here on the ground. We could be both, coming up and around. Touching the ground, opening back up. One more on each side. Then coming back up to center. And y'all, that was day 14. Oh, and I'm gonna sneak in just a little bit of a little bit of cobbler. Just I love it, you guys. I can't help myself. I told myself I was gonna cap it out at like 10 postures a day. It's like I'm still doing cobbler. So at this point in our practice, you can switch it off, in which case, thanks for hanging out. You could just relax and keep continuing your practice, doing whatever you feel your body needs in today. You could just lay back into corpse pose, savasana, and just practice breathing and just, I don't know, do you. You got this. But I do want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And 2 weeks, y'all. That's amazing. I have been journaling and trying to get like some thoughts out on paper about how I'm feeling, what kind of things I'm experiencing and stuff. And I'm hoping that at the end of our year journey, I can go through and kind of see where I was in hindsight in our first week, in our first month, at our 3-month point, 6-month point. Like it kind of like I don't think there's any way to truly accurately anticipate what changes might take place. What, it could be by the end of the year I could be so tired of yoga I never want to do it again. Like I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I don't think I'm going to feel that way because, well, so far I'm enjoying it more and more each day. But we shall see. Only time will tell. So thank you guys again so much for joining me here today. I will see y'all tomorrow. And until then, keep on. Do I have a splinter? I do. Until tomorrow, you guys, keep on keeping on. Bye. And I gotta turn off the camera. Okie dokie.